Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. This morning already, we've done one on the SNP, we've done one on Alaba, and we might as well complete the triumvirate of failure by doing one on the Greens. But this is a Green who's not one of the more famous members. It's a councillor who hasn't paid their council tax up to a year after being elected. This councillor was elected for the Greens for Glasgow City Council and decided that as a councillor, no point paying the council tax, and hasn't. Anyone else, of course, would have been in court by now, but for some reason this one seems to be okay and acceptable. We have to ask why. Why is this person not paying their council tax and yet sitting on a council that imposes fines and takes people to court when they don't? Well, we'll have a look at this person. And I keep saying person because you'll see why in a moment. And of course the name of the video is The Green Man, because that's exactly what he is. Here goes. Glasgow Scottish Greens councillor still owes council tax a year since being elected. No one else would have got away with it for a year. Elaine Gallagher, not his real name, made history last year by becoming the first trans councillor to be elected to Glasgow City Council, but could be blocked from voting on budgets due to owing the local authority council tax. Should be blocked from even being a councillor. This man still has say and sway and votes on what happens to children, especially in schools. And you shouldn't have anyone who is part of a group that wants to encourage this kind of thing on young people allowed to vote on it. A Scottish Greens councillor still owes his local authority more than 2 months of council tax over a year after being elected. Elaine Gallagher was confirmed as the only elected representative in Glasgow to be in council tax arrears, presumably not earning enough to pay the money. And if the Glasgow council tax is so high that even a councillor can't pay it, what hope for normal people? And by normal I just mean normal people. He made history last year by becoming the first trans councillor to be elected to Glasgow City when he won a seat in South Central. However, he was named and shamed as just one of 6 councillors to owe money to the local authority that they work for. And this debt has still not been cleared, despite his working in local government for more than a year. He nets around £20,000 in salary, and according to his register of interests, is a self-employed writer. Well, he should write a few cheques then. His author profile says he is a writer of fiction, poetry and screenplay. Fiction, I believe, being an SNP councillor. Being a Green councillor in an SNP-led council. It's unlikely to be any fact involved, is there? He also owns a property in Hillhead, but it's not known whether this is the premises that he owes money more than 2 months of council tax payments on. The true scale of his debt was not disclosed by Glasgow City Council after a request was made through the Freedom of Information request. In other words, they kept it quiet. They had to keep it quiet. An official wrote, as Bailey Gallagher's council tax... Bailey? It was Elaine a minute ago, so they're changing the names, are they? Oh, no, it is. He calls himself Bailey Elaine, but goes by Elaine for some really weird reason. As Bailey Gallagher's council tax arrears were accrued prior to being elected as a city councillor, the council believes that the value of these arrears should remain exempt from a request under Section 1 of the Freedom of Information Act because of the exemption contained in Section 38.1b of the Act. I don't care about the exemptions. He owes it, he pays it, and while he's not paid it, he should be disbarred from being a councillor. In other words, in our opinion, disclosure of the information requested would involve disclosing personal information, which the council believes would breach the data protection principles. It's a cop-out. It's an absolute cop-out. If he hasn't paid it by now, then he should be disbarred from being a councillor. No one representing the people should owe money to the people. It's as simple as that. But of course it won't be, because this is the Greens and the SNP, and they all just lie and cover up and backscratch and wash one hand against the other. Conniving bastards, a lot of them. But Mr Gallagher's debt could stop him from representing his constituents properly as according to Section 112 of the Local Government Finance Act 1992, any councillor with at least 2 months of arrears is unable to fully carry out their duties. This is because they would not be allowed to take part in crucial budget votes and therefore should not be councillors. If they take part in any debates or meetings about council tax, they have to declare their debt beforehand. Glasgow City Council confirmed that the Greens councillor was the only one in this bracket, for some reason incapable of paying his bills. The SNP-led local authority recently hiked up council tax by 5%. And boy, you're going to look back in the days of joy when your council tax only went up 5%. This year, they're looking at 22.5% increase because, hey, you screw up the economy this bad, somebody's got to pay for it, and it sure as hell ain't going to be them. The Greens did not vote on this as they left prior to the passing of the budget. This increase means that a Band D household will now pay £1,500. But as I say, that's from last year, the 5% announced last year. This year it's going to be 22.5%. It's going to be horrendous. Mr Gallagher is seen as a rising star in the local political scene, and he was immediately appointed a Bailey of the City, which allows him to deputise for the Lord Provost at civic receptions and engagements. The Greens have an informal agreement with the SNP to help them pass legislation on the council. He did not respond to a request for information when he was asked about his debt. Now, of course, I'm saying him and his and things, and I'm entitled to do that under the 2010 Equality Act, where, and I'm just going to put this out there so that I can protect myself, where one of the protected characteristics is that of philosophical belief. And it is my philosophical belief that a man who is born man is still a man until the day he dies. And it doesn't matter what he calls himself, what he dresses as, or what name he gives himself. He is still a man, and maybe addressed as that. Because that's what he is. Biologically, biochemically, and in every way that matters, he is a man. And I bet you that Mr Gallagher still has his testes and penis attached. I will not join in the mass lying that these people need to substantiate their mental illness. Doesn't matter what you change out here. When it's fucked in here, it's gone. Anyway, I shall stop there, come up and round off this video. But it is telling, isn't it, that a year later, still can't pay your debts? Dearie me. It's no surprise that the Greens appoint mentally ill people to be councillors. I think it's almost par for the course. You've got to have something wrong with you to be a Green MP or a Green councillor or a Green SNP, whatever. To join the Green Party, I think there's got to be something a bit twisted in the head. To want that sort of Marxist outlook where you destroy all industry, where you want to take oil away from people, to make people's lives misery and filled with poverty. But to get someone this far gone up the old mental chute is a bit weird. And then to have this person totally incapable of doing the sort of things that everyone else can do and is expected of them. Because as I say, the council, you not pay a council tax bill for a year, you're in court. So why is this particularly bonkers individual allowed to get away with it? Is it simply because the party must never be punished? All hail the party. Who knows? Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. And remember, the Greens are all completely bonkers. Just some are more bonkers than others. Bye.